hills and build them high. Makes a long time climbing before I die. I want the chance to spit in his eye. Oh, well, they gave me bars, but I can see between to a dusty yard and a long gone green. They call that freedom, if you know what I mean. And I drown my sorrows, but the whiskey's gone. I'm sober as a judge.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Shortbangers. I'm Matty. This is episode 96. I'm joined tonight by Colin and John. Colin, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm getting better. Recovering.
The voices getting there.
Well, I'm feeling better. Voice is getting worse, but hopefully it doesn't annoy too many people.
Aye.
I think we might be getting fan mail. I'm thinking about sending you some fan mail myself. It's quite sexy.
Aye.
Well,
you've said that before. Like that's you've definitely said before about my voice.
Were you the original dulcet tones, Colin?
Aye, that was my original name. I changed it to Deadpool.
And John, you do things for somebody as well. Don't you, with your voice? We've had that feedback before through our DMs.
I do things.
one of those voices. I never get any feedback like that for some reason. Can't think why. Right, we'll just dive right into the questions. First one comes from John McEwen, who shared a tweet from Andrew Stevenson, who obviously I think is oblivious to Shortbangers. Random Sunday afternoon thought as the hail and sun pelt down simultaneously, can you deep fry trifle? And John added, also, is it proper trifle if it has jelly? I thought a trifle had to have jelly.
Aye, I didn't think you could get... what kind of trifle would it be if there was no jelly in it?
A shit one.
It's got to have jelly in it.
Aye, jelly kind of helps form the foundation for everything that gets layered on top of it.
You have the fruit in that all floating about in the jelly and the sponge.
Or your sponge fingers, aye.
Aye, and then custard and then
sponge
cream.
fingers.
Aye,
it's Swiss roll in my house.
Swiss roll, it's cup of Swiss roll in the house as well, but you can buy sponge fingers.
Are they called ladies' fingers?
I think.
I imagined that.
No, I think they might be called lady fingers in America, but I've never heard them refer to that here.
Would you try deep frying a trifle?
No, it was funny. I seen, what was I saw the other day? There was somebody deep fried a bit of ice cream.
Aye.
Like a ball of ice cream deep fried. I think it was with a Mars bar or something, deep fried Mars bar.
Is that not kind of like a baked Alaska though? Like, well, actually, no, a baked Alaska is, well, it's baked or fried. Like the name kind of gives it away.
Aye, but it's still the same thing, isn't it? It's like heating up, because it doesn't melt like ice cream in a baked Alaska, does it? I think I know how that works. Is it meringue that's around that?
Aye, I think the egg white helps repel the heat.
But how does the batter? Well, it's got egg white, don't have egg in it. No, the batter, I suppose, but you know how it doesn't melt, the ice cream.
There must be some sort of melting that takes place, because if you've seen unless the coldness, so when you say deep fry a Mars bar, cream egg, or whatever it happens to be, it always comes out like a bit gooey and really quite soft. I wonder if the coldness of the ice cream helps kind of repel the worst of the heat, so it still comes out like a scoop of ice cream or whatever.
Yeah, how would you... See, back to the trifle question, how would you wrap that in batter in the first place? Would you have to cut a bit of the trifle out of the... I'm thinking of a trifle dish, right? So it'd have to come out of that dish. That'd be pretty hard to hold to get into batter.
With a big spoon.
So you need to cut...
Is that the dish that your old ears had for the last 30 years?
the one that lies, it comes out Christmas Eve to get the trifle out,
and then you get the big spoon for it.
But because you wouldn't really, it would have to be slice by slice or portion by portion rather than a whole.
You couldn't do it as the whole thing. Like there's just no way to get that into the batter. Like it's too soft, like for you to like scoop out and try and get it in a batter.
Yeah.
It would need to be heavily refrigerated, so it's quite solid.
Yeah.
I'm tempted to try it.
Wasn't it us getting into the science of deep frying a trifle? Like I do think like having it chilled and on a spoon so that you could dip it into a batter to pull it out to then dip it into the deep fryer. So yes, you can.
Yes, right, we'll go with yes. And if anybody wants to try it, let us know. I might try it if I remember. I can do.
And tell us if there's such a thing as trifle without jelly, because that doesn't sound like a trifle to me.
Aye.
That just sounds like custard and cream.
I would be fucking livid if somebody served up a trifle with jelly in it. Like, that would be a day ruiner.
I've not made a Christmas trifle, but see, like a sherry trifle, does that have the jelly and the fruit and the sherry all in kind of mixed in together.
Yeah, so it's like, have you ever made vodka jelly before?
Yes.
So it's same idea.
Same
Just goes in
idea.
with the water into the jelly.
I've just
Vodka
got
jelly is good.
obviously been eating Kunsel trifle all my life with Swiss roll and the alcohol in it.
You can do vodka watermelons as well. If you get a funnel and you poke into the top of a watermelon, it absorbs it all. That's nice. I would recommend it.
That's a shout actually.
Yeah, don't have it if you don't like watermelon or vodka.
I was going to say I do like watermelons.
Aye, that's not for you. Try it with an orange.
I think there's something you can do with the inside of a watermelon. I think you can almost make it like a sort of watermelon slushy with the vodka. Like I don't know if that means like freezing it or whatever. But you know how like obviously the watermelon it's quite like I wouldn't say that the fruit's like a brittle, but you know like the sort of texture that I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But I think if you sort of like mash that up, you can make it into a slushy. That's pretty cool.
I like if anybody
Never
wants
had that
to
either.
the sound off, John, your hand action was you could mash it up. Obviously, if you're listening to this, it's like the coffee shaker or wanker side.
How often do you use the wanker sign? Like when was the last time you used it?
Not often enough. Driving.
Has it gone out of fashion?
Probably it's a bad for like the fuck off with a finger, like fuck off like that. It's when you're driving and somebody doesn't indicate in the roundabout. That's
I think
the trigger for me.
its main use is probably now at the football, like the away end
Aye.
usually, because I sit near the away end. You see it quite a lot. It seems to be the sort of universal. Hello.
Hello. Matt asked, what do people in China call their good plates? Dave.
I wonder if they just call it a good place.
Aye. We'll go with that.
Get the IKEA set out.
Dorlisa, if you ran away to join the circus, which act would you want to join?
Nothing to do with the lions. I was reading about Siegfried and Roy recently and how one of them got mauled to death during the magic act. So, know that.
I wouldn't want to be anything to do with heights, like the tight
Trapeze.
ropes or anything like trapeze or anything like that. I'm not really a fan of heights. But the
That's funny
question
as
isn't
well,
what would I not want to do, it's what would I want to do, so.
I can see you
Whatever's left.
flying through the air in a leotard as well.
Aye, I know. That's what that's the voice that's making you think that's there. What about the motorbikes? Can the motorbikes go in the
On the
in the
wall of
wall
death.
Mm.
That's a great
Do
shout,
that.
by the way.
Can I bash?
I wouldn't mind getting fired out of a cannon. Yeah, just for the experience, that'd be decent.
How does that work in practice? Like, do they have? Is there gunpowder? Is there like an accelerant in there that pushes you? How do you know? How does that not kill you? That's something that's always played in my mind.
It's the egg.
Like
It's the eggs. They repel it. But it must be caught you in eggs before it.
Eat ice cream. Basically, you have to eat a load of ice cream before you go in it, and then the heat for the explosion doesn't bother you. The best way to kill a circus? You go for the juggler. Right. I'm here all week. Jay Caldwell said, "Who's the next manager?" Or is that too soon? Too soon. Leon said, "Score out of 15. How bad Sean Maloney's post-match analysis is? 15 being utter nonsense." So 1 to 15. Sean Maloney's post-match analysis.
I tend not to watch any of the stuff anymore. Not I say anymore. Like with managers, not because it's a new manager. I tend not to watch any of that stuff. It's all the same stuff they say anyway, innit? So unfortunately, I catch the out of context headlines and stuff or comments that you read. It used to frustrate me years ago. I would listen to Radio Scotland on the way home, and then you'd get in and you'd put rethibs.net, and it'd be like, you'd be going, "That's not what he said." The folk would have taken half a sentence and stuck it on there and says, "Can you believe how fucking biased that? That's not what he said, though. I listened to it." So that's what I'm stuck with now, because I don't listen anymore, because I can't be arsed. You put Radio Scotland on a Saturday now, when you leave Easter Road, I'm in the car, away up the road, and they usually just, if it's Celtic at home, they usually just talk about Celtic until I get home, about 5:30, 5:15, 5:20. They're still talking about Celtic. So I never hear it, and I don't listen, so I'm not going to comment on it anymore than I already have.
Just pick a number then. Pick a number between 1 and 15.
1.
1. All right. John.
6.
6.
6.
Because last week he was getting criticised for saying we should have scored 3 goals or something. But we should have scored 3 fucking
Aye,
goals.
we should have.
So how's that nonsense? You know what I mean?
Aye. It's one of these. Okay, what he says things that are right, but folk don't want to hear it. Because we got beat. If we won and he said the same things, folk would just lap it up.
It's the same with every manager, eh? It's because we're losing.
Aye.
It's, I mean, Yogi got it, oh, it was all the same. Oh, I didn't like his voice and didn't like his accent and the way he pronounces words. And fine margins, didn't like fine margins. And they've all had their turn getting picked on when you go through a bad run. So.
John, Yogi wouldn't have said we should have scored 3 goals. He would have said we should have scored
3.
Correct.
Aye.
3. Okay, 150k on Hanlon Hill. When did grieving on boobies become a thing? No further context will be given.
When did griebing on boobies?
Yep, become a thing.
What do you think griebing means?
Spitting, I think, is it not?
That's what I'm taking it as.
Aye, when
Spitting
did
on it.
grieving on boobies become a thing? No further context will be given.
Spitting on boobies?
Aye.
Wow.
Jenky's been watching some, he's been on the Pornhub or something, isn't he?
Is he? Do you think he's had his boobies spat on and wasn't he quite sure what was going on?
I think that would be sort of like a more erotic version of the issue that we highlighted with Turkish barbers when they start giving you a massage that they didn't expect. When you were like, oh, this is getting interesting, and you'd be like, what are you doing that for?
I've just looked it up. I've just looked up griebing in the Urban Dictionary.
Uh-huh.
It's a term used to describe someone or a place that is of a lesser level of physical attractiveness. E.g., that girl is griebing. Bristol is a griebing place to live.
I think it's been used in a different context in this instance.
They're giving us context. He's letting us make our own context up. He
Well-
probably wanted us to go down the track, eh? Somebody gobbing on your bobby.
That goes straight to the top of the list of sentences I didn't expect to hear tonight. Okay, right. I don't know when it became a thing. Charlie Banks.
I was going to say, like, what if you cough up like a big COVID greener while you're grieving on someone's body? Just make a mess of it.
The worst thing is, though, like, the booby can breathe back at you eventually, couldn't it?
Would it put you off your stroke if someone was to have a big COVID greener on your body?
Aye.
Would it?
Aye. Well, go in your hand for a start. If that's look, if you're talking about you having a stroke, there's no way that's not hitting your hand as well.
Mm.
And that would be pleasant. You go, fuck it, and then you spend the next week trying to fuck it off and find something to wipe it on. Or
Wouldn't it be your hand that's on it, though?
well, don't just ask if it put you off your
Spitting on
stroke.
Well, aye, but I
No.
wasn't necessarily using it in like put it off your stroke in the you're having a wank context. Like, would it put you off in general? Speaking as a
Aye.
guy who gets pee shy, I don't think it would put me off. I'm a walking oxymoron. Some might say a walking moron.
All right, Charlie Banks said, "Have you ever been tempted to film yourself kicking a cat?"
No.
No, never film it. Never film
Did
it.
Did he film himself doing it, or was it somebody else filming him doing it?
It was his brother that filmed it and put it on Snapchat. And
Is that
honestly,
what it was?
I'd love to hear the conversation that's taking place between the animal abuser and his brother, because it's cost them at least £250,000 and fined. Well, at least West Ham have said that they have fined them the maximum amount possible, which I think was 2 weeks' wages. It's been suggested
You
a
say
£250,000.
it like find them £250,000. That's what's cost them. You go fucking hell, and then you say it's 2 weeks' wages. And you think, fucking hell, for a different reason. Did I kick
I
cats
didn't-
like that? So I did I kick animals in general.
No, no.
Don't be a cunt. Like Mike said, would you rather be smacked in the face with a fish or farted on?
How big's a fish? Doesn't he give us that context? We have to make it up yourself.
Well, if you were going to pick the fish, what size of fish would you want? Like, because it's
Goldfish.
funnier if it's a big fish, but
Aye,
obviously
but if I'm getting hit with it, I'll take
less
the goldfish.
painful. But a goldfish, right?
But then, is that harming the fish though? Like, as PC
well.
it is. I can't afford 2 weeks' wages.
Goldfish would have forgotten. After it's like that kind of grassy, kind of. It's like, what happened there? To remember. In fact, probably its memory will be even worse after that.
Is the fish dead?
Yeah.
Is the fish like on the ice at Morrison's fish counter, for example?
Aye, we'll go with one that's already perished.
I know a
who's
boy
farting
that got slapped in the ear by a fish in the Harpen Castle. In fact, Titch, if he's listening, he was the one that slapped the boy in the ear with it.
Oh, did you ask who's farting on you?
Who's doing the farting? Aye, because like depends on the size of the person as well. Like
Who would you accept farting on you?
one of my daughters or something, one of my wee ones. Like that's the issue.
Right.
Easy.
Ken, what I found out today, this morning, in fact, I went to the toilet first thing, sat down, and I let out this massive, massive fart, and it probably sounded worse than it actually was because it was echoing off the bowl and that. And I said, "Excuse me." And the missus said to me, and this is a revelation, I don't know if this really exists in anyone else's house, but she said to me, "You didn't need to excuse yourself when you're in the toilet." And I thought because it was that loud that I should.
Aye. Your pre-shite fart is the loudest fart you ever do. Like, consistently. And then what happens to whether it's the... Because you could do it, you could fart after the shite, and it's not as loud as that one.
No.
But the pre-shite fart's fucking unreal.
It must be a thing like when...
Sorry, I was going to say when you're dressed and you're farting, you're probably like protecting yourself with it releasing. Whereas when you're sitting down, you're relaxed about it, Because that's what you're there for.
I was thinking...
I think it's like a big fanfare for what's about to follow. It's just announcing it, isn't it? Here it comes.
I thought maybe during the night, like the gas sort of... How do I put this? It makes its way to the point of exit and the poo kind of like sits behind. And that's why, and it's kind of like getting forced out. That's a weird fucking
Under pressure.
Aye, that's kind of what I'm going for.
Aye, that's reasonable. I farted in the kitchen the other day and it was so loud that it woke the dog up and he started barking like fuck. That was fun. Right, so smacked in the face with a fish or farted on?
Fish.
John?
Farted on.
I'd go with a fart as well. Like, it's not going to be sore, is it? Whereas a fish to the face might potentially hurt.
You might get like slimy fish scales on you, and that's just going to be a nightmare to clean up.
Smell
after.
a fish for a while as well,
Aye.
until you can wash your face.
You don't smell any shit though, eh?
Well,
You just
People are more likely- if you went, but I just got farted on, they go, oh, all right, that's understandable. If you smell a fish, who's going to believe you? We say, oh, somebody slapped me in the face with a fish. They'd be like, fuck off, that never happened. You're
making it sound like getting farted on's a common occurrence there. The way you like, I getting farted on would be accepted. Like you're sitting in the office, well, he just farted on me.
Aye, it was just when it was passing, did it?
Just timed it.
You ever fart on the missus when you're both walking upstairs together?
Nah.
Oh no, just in front of her. Like
Have you ever farted on anyone as you're walking up the stairs?
Oh, aye.
Aye.
All right, Mike also asked, would you rather speak to animals or know other people's thoughts?
my instant reaction was to know other people's thoughts, but I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if I'd want to know exactly what other people are thinking. I don't know if it could get you into, could send you into a bit of a spiral, eh? Like thinking, worried about what people are going to say, or not even say what they're going to think about what you're doing, at least if you don't know.
We're basically looking at two films here, I think. Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy or What Women Want with Mel Gibson.
Well,
and I think
I'd
rather
that Mel Gibson's got so
I think I'd rather be Eddie Murphy.
Aye, everybody would rather be Eddie Murphy than Mel Gibson, I think. Apart from Mel Gibson, because he's a massive racist.
But
Eh,
Eddie Murphy didn't treat Mel B very well, though, either. Because he's so fucking there between. So
What's
they
the
treats
story
women
there?
not very well. Oh, he got her pregnant and then started denying he was a dad and all that.
For the Spice Girls.
Aye.
He's,
And he is the dad.
he's the
What?
dad
He
of one of our
went
kids.
total big campaign about fucking basically she's a slag. But I wasn't the only one that was in about it. You know what I mean? Like that was the line, but he is the
That's what
dad.
happened. I'm like totally oblivious to this.
I don't know, 15, 20 years ago.
I was going to say about 15 years ago.
Mental. So, well, now I don't know what to think.
No, you're stuck now, yeah.
Aye. I would probably like to care what folk are thinking.
Would you though? You think that now until you get to hear them thinking, and they'll be going, they talk all the shit in that Shortbangers. What the fuck are they talking about
anyway.
farting on? You know what I mean?
I've got quite a thick skin. Like, I don't get easily offended. If folk don't like me, I don't fucking care. Eh? Like, if somebody doesn't like Shortbangers or Longbangers, fucking, this isn't for them. Sure,
Aye, why are you
this is
fucking
bother me,
listening? Aye, why are you even
Aye.
fucking listening? Just you can moan about it, daft cunt.
Aye, fuck off. So, I don't care. I care it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's cup of tea. It doesn't bother me. Some folk like it, some folk don't. Big deal. And I feel the same. Somebody didn't like me, but well, fucking, it's the skin off my nose. Different, I suppose, maybe if it's your parents or your wife or your kids or
Well, you get to hear all that as
your
well. wouldn't
pals. Aye.
What if it was someone that you quite liked, maybe even respected, and then you found out that they just didn't like being around you? Would that make you stay away from them more, or would you try and find out what it was that they didn't like?
You could do something about it, couldn't you? You could evaluate whether you were being a dick or no, and then make a decision about whether you wanted to stick to how you wanted to be or whether you needed to change. I think that would be quite a powerful thing to have. Whereas if you
I
could
don't know
talk
if
to
I'd bother.
animals, you just find out they like sniffing arses and chasing sticks.
I
Do
know.
you know what I mean?
I know that's the tip side there because I'm a bit like, well, I don't care about the animal thing, bother.
Aye.
But I don't know if I'd want to hear what people think either. In some cases, it would be good. Like, what you want for your Christmas? And she says, oh, I don't know. But she's actually thinking what she wants, and that would be useful there.
Aye.
But I don't think I would do what you done there if somebody doesn't like you and they're thinking he's a dick. I think I would just say, oh, that's fine then. See you later.
Aye.
Whereas rather than try and make it as a how do I win them back?
A learning
Right.
experience.
Fuck
I'm
them.
just thinking of this really, really extreme example, right, where you suddenly woke up one morning and you could hear other people's thoughts. And the first person that you bumped into whose thoughts you heard went, he's a fucking dick, and you stabbed him. You think I'm a dick?
And then you're in the jail thinking you're not their thoughts.
Aye.
Fuck,
Imagine.
the last thing you need to do.
Aye.
Serial killers thinking about the next killing that.
So now I'll stick with the animals. Thanks very much, because nobody wants stabbed.
You come out the toilet in the morning, come back into the bedroom, and you just hear in their head, that pre-strike fart was awful loud this morning.
He never even fucking excused himself.
Never even excused himself. The last one from Mike says, would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader for the rest of your life?
Oh God!
So Darth Vader, he's the one that does the big heavy breathing thing, yeah? And Yoda's
Aye.
the one that talks sentences mixed up. Is that right?
Aye,
That's
Darth
spot on.
Vader would be like listening or being the person that talks through their mouth constantly.
Yeah.
You know, sorry, that dysophonia or whatever it's called, misophonia.
Aye.
Eating with your mouth open.
Yeah.
I would go
Other
like,
ones-
I'll go with Yoda. And then
Imagine trying to do Shortbangers with Yoda. Like that'd just be torture.
I thought you were going to say I would go like Yoda. I would. No, is that not what you were going to? Well, you're not thinking that.
No.
You must have been.
it'd be worse with the breathing though.
Aye.
You wouldn't be able to do it. Folk would turn off straight away and go, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But listen to that. And I'm no fit as well. So if you think I'm second back row at the West Stand, top tier. So I can the number of stairs that you've got to go up, and I'm no fit. So imagine panting when you're like breathing like that. So Darth Vader never breaks respect. And you watch Star Wars, and even when he's having a fucking pack with his lightsaber, he's no
Add to
breath,
that,
but
you can hear people's thoughts, and they're going, "For fuck's sake." Fuck, get him, fuck.
Oh, I hope he doesn't sit here. Here he comes, big asthma cunt. I've not got asthma. So I would go for Yoda for that reason. John, did you pick?
Yoda. I couldn't deal with breathing. Like, I think Yoda would still be annoying, but it's the lesser of two evils.
I agree. You know what my thoughts are on the noise
Aye.
eating breathing thing, so it would have to be.
Okay, Kaiser Souza said if you had to pick one animal to kick, which animal and why? I'd love to kick a penguin.
Kurt Zuma. I'd like to kick that animal.
Ah,
Do you think he kicked the cat that hard, like to generate the sort of
I don't know, like
the whole thing?
so obviously we're not talking about genuinely kicking animals. He genuinely kicked one, but we would genuinely kick a fucking animal. But a penguin, right? Because it's sort of you can imagine like a rugby ball or American football, and you could probably go for kind of if you had a goal, try to hit it over the bar like they do. That's what they do in rugby calling it, over the bar.
Aye, kick it over the bar. Aye, that's right.
So, and they can't fly naturally, so it would be fucking delighted. Like it would thank you for it after, because that's an experience it doesn't normally have.
Yeah. Like a bungee, like going on a bungee for it or something. With it springing back.
I'm just thinking, like, you're talking about leathering a penguin like so hard and so high that it thinks it can fly. But you buckled your ankle trying to do a couple of keepy uppies.
Aye, but none of this is real, John. None of it's ever going to happen.
Theoretically or hypothetically, there's a lot of animals out there, isn't there?
Aye,
tons.
Here,
What about a koala?
Right. Why?
No, wait, I didn't mean a koala. I mean a panda. Because pandas are the biggest, laziest bastards going who seem intent on their own extinction. And it annoys me that so much effort goes into something that is quite clearly determined to die.
So you're thinking about a motivational sort of kick up the arse?
Aye,
yeah,
a boot up the arse.
You're getting
Or
maybe
just a boot up the arse on its way to extinction. Hypothetically.
I'm just thinking that
we're not really going to kick animals.
Like so we're all sort of 80s kids. Do you remember like dogs used to just walk about when he leads? I'm not. I'm going to say I'm going to kick a dog, right? I'm not going down that route. But do you remember they used to just walk about?
They used to roam about in packs and spotting out white shite on the ground.
If you go dog shagging at school, that was like the best day.
Yeah, but that was it. They used to just get casually kicked as well, didn't they, by people? Like if they were getting them bothering that. I mean, there was a comedian done a whole sketch on it. With Mickey Flanagan done a whole bit on folk just booting dogs and passing. Because my dad's off that generation. If my dog is recently, he'll just go, "You want a fucking boot."
My sister got bit by a dog at Granton Primary School. So my dad took me and my wee brother. So I was walking by this point, and he took my wee brother down in the pram, and he had a rolled up newspaper. And I've still to this day got no idea what he was going to do with the dog if he was to like come across it with his rolled up newspaper. I assume he was going to give it a sound thrashing, but maybe he was going to read on the sports pages or something. I don't know.
I think he'd be fetch.
Tug of war or something.
Aye.
I've not got. I can't think of any animals right now. Like I can only think of dogs and cats, and you're not like kick cats. So
what if it'd be quite good to kick a giraffe in the shin? It's because you can imagine going that and kind of looking down to try and find out what's happened to it, and it's me fucking like coming up and going and you could just stand underneath his belly and it wouldn't care where you were. It was like, who the fuck done that? And you're standing underneath it going, the other leg without you prick. Aye. Anyway, didn't kick animals. Jimbo Slice said, Ash, would you rather never cut your nails again or never wash your hair? Asking for a jambo.
Oh, it's an easy one for me. I mean, I've not got much to wash, so
I'd go for the hair and shave it off.
You used to have long nails, eh? You used to have long nails. Aye, I remember that.
I've got a phobia nail clippers. I've got like nail scissors. So, but I used to I used to freak me right out.
So you had, hang on, you've got a phobia in nail clippers, so you let your nails grow long.
Aye, I did when I was wee.
I
Aye.
just never cut them. I
I
remember
genuinely
I
can't tell if you're taking the piss or not.
No, they would be long, and then kind of obviously they'd get to, but you'd have to fucking cut them. But I keep them short now. But
get them
you used
sanded
to have
down.
good nail scissors for them. But aye, when I was wee, used to. My mum and dad used to like have to fucking pin me down.
Did they cut
when I
them
was
too short
properly-
once or something like? And you
Yeah,
maybe cut them too short and put you off?
aye, something like that. Just.
Oh, the
terrifying,
missus did
yeah.
that. The missus did that with the bairn when she was cutting her fingernails. Managed to catch a wee bit of skin. Felt terrible about it.
Yeah.
Bairn didn't feel that good about it either.
Aye. They say as well on that question, do they not say if you don't wash your hair, it starts cleaning itself after?
Aye, I'm not sure
Like
if that's
when
true.
you've got dreadlocks and all that.
You can't have like the big Florence join on nails. That'd just be torture. So I'm going to
No.
go with the Megan hair.
Yeah.
Keep the
Right.
nails clean.
All agreed. Paul Mackay said, instead of snowflakes, what would you like to see fall to Earth every second and would they disappear? And this is because he's shared a fun fact. On average, 1,000,000 billion snowflakes land on Earth every second.
Million billion.
1,000,000 billion. So instead of snowflakes, what would you like to see fall to Earth every second and would they disappear?
You couldn't make it
Eh.
pound coins because that would be dangerous, eh?
Aye.
Because they would definitely disappear. What else could it be?
Thinking here, eh?
Need to be something soft.
Marshmallows.
Marshmallows. I like this.
Oh, this is what happened in Ghostbusters, isn't it? If to think of something, first thing that sprung to mind, big fucking marshmallow man. So maybe no marshmallows because we saw what happened in Ghostbusters and that was fucking messy.
They come down toasted if they can pass the sun and that as well. It'd be like the s'more things.
Actually, that sounds decent. If it were a hot day, if it was,
In the summer, it would be good. In the winter,
aye.
Why would they come? Would they come down toasted? Like, are they just coming for like Earth's upper atmosphere?
Yeah.
But they're not coming through the atmosphere because that would mean
was
that they'd obviously burn up.
it was a hot day. That's what
Aye.
they're going with the sun. Like it's a summer day, middle of July, August, something like that. Get a wee nice toasted marshmallow.
Aye. You're sitting having a picnic or a barbecue. I think I came what this needs. Some pre-toasted marshmallows coming in the sky. And then, if you're lucky, you got the right weather for it.
Yeah.
What about freshly baked loaves of bread? Unsliced, soft.
But I've come at that distance, so that could still be.
Aye,
Taste.
cause of death. Warburton.
You would have like your umbrella would be the other way around. Then it'd be like a
Try
catcher.
to catch it.
Aye,
Yeah.
you would go up. That's the rain on or the snow, whatever.
This is a weighty decision. Like,
What about
if there's
jelly
only one
babies?
thing. Jelly babies. See, after a while, is that going to feel like hail? Is that going to get a bit annoying?
Aye, it could be
Mm.
so
Like, there'll be a
after while
novelty
as
factor
well.
for the first couple of minutes, then you're just like, fuck me.
Text in at 80295. I think we should stick with marshmallows. I think there was good logic behind that. MJ Plastering in Thailand asked, did Fattest Prickus get his filling back out his codgy this morning? I don't know the context to that. But Fattest Prickus did reply and said no, it might need to hire a toilet snake.
He was
Did he swallow a filling?
flossing. He was flossing, and his filling popped out and landed in the toilet. A very clean toilet, all things considered.
No.
That's good.
You're writing that filling off the way. You're not trying to take that to the dentist and say, can you put that back in for me?
No, you would just get a new one anyway.
I don't know.
Aye.
I don't know if they're reusable or if it needs to be like fitted or. The dentist will probably want to clean the tooth out, so you'll just leave it.
Okay.
Leave it to Seafield to process and chuck it to sea. I wonder how many fillings there are in the sea, actually. Like, how many folk have lost their filling in the bog and then just flushed it?
Yeah. Text in to
Text in.
Longbangers, see if they know the answer.
Aye.
Have you seen
Ask
the
us.
video? Have you seen the theory or the sort of hypothetical scenario that there is a corpse to water ratio that everyone is prepared to swim in?
Well,
I don't know what you mean.
so
So if you
Well, like,
imagine
so
like in
there's
the
been
ocean
dead bodies in the sea.
Oh, right, okay.
and you've gone swimming in the sea,
Ah.
Yeah.
But what are you going swimming for? Just to go for a swim?
Fitness.
Fitness.
recreation,
'Cause-
leisure,
Aye. Can I run across the water?
not
So you're not trying to escape
Not
something
either.
or anything? Because if
No,
you're
no.
trying to escape something, right, that's going to my ratio would be a lot higher. If it's just like, do you fancy going for a swim round all the dead bodies? I go, man, thanks. So my ratio is going to be fucking 0.
But you probably like
But there's
To the
probably a
sea would be
midpoint
Ken.
between that, between life and death, where you'll just go, that's fine.
No, I wouldn't
No.
go in the water if there was dead bodies in the sea. I just wouldn't go in it if I didn't have to. If I had to, I would go in.
have,
No, but
have you
that's
been
the
in the
thing,
sea
like-
before?
There are bodies in
Aye.
the sea.
So you've been in the sea,
Aye.
presumably, in your life.
Aye. Yes.
And your life wasn't a threat at that moment in time.
No.
So then your threshold wasn't 0.
But where was the dead bodies? I couldn't see them.
They're in the sea. It's just
Could have been.
there's loads of fucking water around them. So
Oh, right, aye.
they might be miles away from you.
I was picturing a sea of dead bodies with that
No.
question.
No.
Aye.
Just like if you jumped in like a wee burn. So if you jumped in Magdalene Burn
Aye.
and there was a dead body upstream,
Yeah.
by the time that water's hitting you, it's been past the dead body. Like there will be bits of dead body in the water that you're splashing about in.
So you're saying, how would you work out a ratio if you don't know how many dead bodies there are?
Guesstimate.
Like, how,
15. That's
You
like
can't
that's
do
your starting point.
you can't do the sum if it's an unknown, eh?
So it's 15 bodies that is known as like your starting point, and 1 C. So 15 to 1. There you go. They made a game show about it. I think that's what it was about anyway. I never fucking watched it, but I'm guessing. Right. Anyway, next question. William asked, it's National Pizza Day. What are you having?
We had pizza tonight, actually. Homemade pizza. We had tomato and barbecue base, chicken, sweet corn, spinach, and mozzarella cheese. It's lovely.
Sounds good, to be fair. Colin, you've got your own pizza oven. What's your
I do.
topping of choice?
I quite like a bit chili, chicken and chili. Yeah, chicken and chili. I quite like doing it actually sometimes with a garlic butter, and maybe stick a bit chili and that on it, chicken on that, rather than having the mozzarella and all that. Quite nice.
Good. I like the spicy meats on a pizza and a bit of chili. Go all for that, and mushrooms as well. Have it. Right, 150k in Hanlon Hill. If the Spice Girls are to be believed, what sort of monster would be created if two become one?
Oh, scary monster.
I thought you meant Scary
It's good at
Spice.
sports.
Well, aye.
Was there a reference to a monster in that song, or is it just?
I think it was about safe sex. It was weird. When you
Yeah.
listen to the lyrics, it's about safe sex.
Aye,
About-
something like that. It's about that. Sure it is.
Kind of condom one.
Is it?
Yeah.
Aye, was it? What are the lyrics?
I need some loving, but I
need
never
some
had-
love like I've never needed love before.
yeah.
Want to make love to you, baby. Had a little love, now I'm back for more. Want to make love
Couldn't
to you,
even
baby.
make in the words. Listen
Put
to
a
it.
Johnny
Aye.
on.
There was another one. It was like put it on, because tonight is the night when two become
Get
one.
it on is one of the
Get
bits
it
as
on.
well.
Get on. That's different to putting it on, isn't it?
Listen to it. It's about safe sex.
Right.
Is
Okay.
that the monster? Safe sex. Safe, boring sex.
Did she put it on and get it on?
Did they? All
Aye,
right,
because
well,
I'm just looking at the lyrics now because they say get it on twice, and then it goes be a little bit wiser, put it on, put it on.
there you go.
So yeah, it definitely could be inferred that's about that.
Remember
Safe sex.
the scene in Naked Gun where they practice the
Yes.
safe sex and they've got the whole body, Johnny's quality. Yeah, but she says, how about a nightcap? He says, oh, what is it? He says, no, I never wear them. And she says, what about a rain check? She's like, no, just dinner's fine. Fucking brilliant movie. Everybody should watch Naked Gun. Disco Stew said, why is it that all instruments created to find intelligent life forms are pointed away from Earth? The irony of getting asked this question is not lost on me at all.
Yeah.
By the way.
Is it not because, though, that it's the intelligent life form that have created the instrument that's pointing?
Yeah,
So
we know
not
it's
pointing at
already here,
yourself.
so you don't have to point at yourself. Yeah.
What if the intelligent life that we're looking for is far more intelligent than the people that are putting the thing together to find them in the first place, therefore we'll never find them?
Then it's like hide and seek champions.
Alien hide and seek.
Aye, well, it would be a big waste of time and money for everybody, then, wouldn't it?
Aye, well, that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, what we're trying to find life out there. What's to say we're going to find it? Like, if you're out there, what if you're just really good at not wanting to be found?
Well, you need to ken that somebody was looking, though, eh?
But if you have that intelligence, you know that someone's looking.
Aye.
And why would you want to be found by a human race where its world leaders are Boris Johnson, fucking Donald Trump, you name it?
Do you think there's other planets looking at us, pointing their instruments towards us, looking for life form, and then maybe just hiding because they know we're looking? They can't quite see us.
That's John's theory, I think.
Aye.
So what we're looking for is not that intelligent life form.
So going back to the original question, it was about all the instruments that are looking for intelligent life are pointed away from the planet.
Yeah.
But what if the intelligence that we're looking for is greater than the intelligence of the people that created this technology? How are we going to find them if we're not on a level playing field in terms of intelligence?
With big heads and glasses.
Mega mind.
Big heads, glasses, and white lab coats. or jackets with patches on the elbows. That's how they're getting fucking easy. Like Portrush Punk said, which Hibs player is most likely to miss his cat in an attempt to kick it?
It's just having a swipe in it.
Then you can take your pick whenever.
It's obvious, I know.
Scott Allen would probably try to play a through ball with
it. Portrush Punk again said, how much time have you saved by clicking next episode and skip intro on Netflix? And what did you do with that extra time? And you're not allowed to say 15. I like that was a caveat in that question. Eh?
Specifics.
Yes.
I've never added it up. I do always, I
never skip. Some programs you watch have a good intro, so I generally always watch it.
I will skip the recap if they give you that, and then I'll skip the music if they've got it. I'm watching Ozark now, like I was telling you before we came on, and they don't have a theme tune at all. Doesn't give you the option to skip it because it just starts, and then it goes to like a black screen with a square broken into 4. A wee picture, and that's it. It just goes into the next bit. It doesn't have a whole
just like the Windows logo in your Windows logo on your computer booting up.
Wee bit like that. But the some of the theme tunes go on for too long. Like mine, Boardwalk Empire, it was a good tune, but it used to go on for fucking ages.
You heard the full song for that?
I think so. It's on the start of the programme, eh? But it was like, some of them can be like 2 minutes long. They start these big American ones that they spent a lot of money on because they'll buy a song in for ages,
eh?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones went on for about 3 weeks before you got on it.
Aye, they're showing you like the map and everything, and I never ever paid attention to that. I still couldn't tell you where everything was in relation to anything else.
It's just is that maybe Scotland? Is that England then? Is that what we're talking about when we say north and
Yes.
south? But it's I don't know why. I suppose what you wonder why Netflix do it, because I like it, I use it. But these programs they're showing or have bought in or have paid for themselves,
Licensed, yeah.
they've got that music on for a reason. So why are they then letting you skip it?
What's
It's
your
a good
favourite
question.
thing?
It's a good question because see, I've been watching The Sopranos again through, like it's on Sky Box Office or something, and there are some TV shows that after a certain period that you've been watching it, like they just do away with it. They just get straight into the action.
Yeah.
And I thought The Sopranos was like that, but all the episodes that I've been watching so far, once you get past the Sky, like the 2 minutes of Sky adverts to begin with, and you get into the opening credits, it's like 2 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's a pain in the hoop, but you didn't get the option to skip there. You can
You just
fast
get
forward
fast
it. But no, so I wonder, it's probably something to do with broadcasting rights, but the details of which I just don't know.
Do you know? I don't know. You might know this and say, "Oh, fucking think you're genius," but you can skip a minute at a time with your Sky remote rather than just fast forwarding.
Well, I'm watching it through the app on the Xbox. I know that it's 3 clicks to the right on the D-pad, and that takes you about a minute and a half in, and that's just when Tony's pulling up to the front door,
Right.
and you're in.
The annoying thing with the Sky app on the Xbox is it's no proper HD. So Netflix will give you proper 4K.
Mhm.
Sky didn't do that on their app. And that things like that bunk me, yeah. Fucking show me it
I
properly.
can't really complain because it's the brother-in-law's Sky Go that we're using, so fuck it. I got to watch the Hibs game a couple of weeks ago, and I was quite happy about it.
Good news. Okay, TG Willis, John,
T.G. Willis.
says, I have a feeling Shortbangers already covered this subject, but hey ho, what is this called? Oh, fucking hell. Can you see that there?
It's a Victoria sponge, but it looks it.
Well, it's a German biscuit, Empire biscuit,
German
double biscuit, or a Belgian biscuit.
That's what we have. I don't know if I was on it, but you guys have definitely spoken about this before. I still call it like a German biscuit, but I know it's not right. That's not what it gets called anymore. Because I was having this conversation with a boy at work way back. He's for through the west. They call it an Empire biscuit through there.
Aye, double biscuit
in Glasgow.
What do we call it?
I've never heard of a double
Or an
biscuit
Empire.
before. I've never. But it was something to do with after the World War or something. They changed it from a German to a
First
Empire.
World War, aye.
And did Belgian not come into? Was that not in Scotland? A Belgian biscuit's like a Scottish name for it more than. I'm sure that's like in Scotland. England called it Empire because they're imperial and all that shit. But
Aye.
we called it a Belgian. I can't remember why it was called a Belgian though. But I still call it a German biscuit. Like I know I've never seen it in you see them in the shop. I'll say, "We'll get the German biscuits." I don't know why. It must have just been what my mum and dad and granny and that called them.
Aye, but I think that's not like a politically correct thing or incorrect thing, is it? It's like a German biscuit. Surely there's no German
must have
person
been
going to get offended by
must-
that, are they?
That must have been an offence to people because when they came out of the war, because they hated all Germans and that at the time. They wouldn't want it. Maybe it affected sales.
I'll show them. I'll name a biscuit after them.
Imagine that, eh? Like
they changed the name from German after the war. I mean,
Oh, right.
so- I'm pretty sure that it wasn't after the Second World War because I'd seen it like for different sources. It was something to do with the first, and it was to do with anti-German sentiment. But even if you assume that it was the Second World War, on VE Day or VJ Day, the day before, it was going to be called the German biscuit, and people were oh no, hang on, ignore me, I'm talking shite. What I was going to say was like, it's still the same product, and all they did was change the name, and people went, aye, that's fine, like we're going to buy them now.
Yeah.
Like that's just bullshit. Like are people so easily swayed by fucking marketing?
Yeah.
Yep.
They are. Stuart said, seeing one of your favourite bands at a festival was crap compared to seeing them on their own. Opinions.
Have you guys seen favourite bands in both scenarios?
Yeah.
no.
It's better seeing them on their own because the set's longer normally.
Mhm.
And normally the sound and everything's better as well.
Because it's just turning up on if it's a if it's a festival, aren't they? That they'll get
Aye.
10 minutes to get set up or whatever. Whereas when it's their own, they'll be in the afternoon doing a sound check before it and stuff.
Aye.
So they'll be a bit more, and they're probably got to do a bit more when they're doing a festival show, where it's not just their own fans. They're probably having to do a bit more crowd pleasing stuff rather than like
Aye.
maybe the newer stuff, or like not you always go to listen to newer stuff, but you know what I mean. They'll be doing like some more generic sort of stuff to try and draw new fans in more than they are try to keep their own fans happy.
Virtually everybody, when you go to see a band in their own right, everybody's into them, so they're all super stoked for seeing them. So that
It's not just folk like getting in early because the band that they really want to see is up in 2 or 3 shows time.
Aye.
Never thought it like that.
Who's the best band you've seen at a festival? John's thinking. If you're listening now,
we're live.
John's thinking. You can tell he was thinking because he looked up to the top corner of his room for fucking ages.
Who's the best band you've seen at a festival?
Well, Pulp were fucking brilliant. So there was the Reading Festival, and the lineup was fucking incredible. So who was all there? Like Pulp, Oasis, Primal Scream, Beck. Beck was really good. It was like, there was like a who's who of fucking Britpop.
I've seen you've shared the thing before, the poster, and it's amazing. It was Blurno there in the one day as well. It was.
I'm not sure
we're all
I think
there.
Blur were maybe one of the few bands that were missing from it. James as well. James are brilliant at festivals. Well worth seeing.
Yeah.
But I'd probably go with Pulp or Oasis.
I'm not a particularly big fan of Pulp. Obviously, there's a couple of songs there that are like the crowd pleasers that Colin was describing. But I saw them at Tea in the Park one year. It's when the reason I got the day ticket to, I think it was a Sunday day ticket, was because Foo Fighters were closing the weekend. Pulp were on I think it was maybe on the main stage, and I developed a much better appreciation for them, and I think that just came from listening to them live. Like, they were a good band live.
Aye, Pulp, different class, his and hers, and then I think this is Hardcore was the next album. Just absolute genius. Different Class, one of my all-time favourite albums.
I saw
Moby at Tea in the Park, right? And I'll say this one, I'd taken a lot of ecstasy, right? It felt like I was alone in a field where I'm just up on the stage playing. It was fucking incredible. So, like, I can remember it coming on. There's a track that he has on Play called My Weakness, which is just like a sort of more or less an instrumental. Came onto that, and I was like mind blown type thing. I'll always remember that. Seen Moby a few times live. He's generally very, very good. But in terms of festivals, but obviously it's different if you're. It might be shite for everybody else. Everybody else will realize crap because
who's that? Who's that cunt? That's what they're listening to. Look at him. Hanks is in this fucking field in his end. Look at him. That's what they're listening.
We've been facing the right way.
Have you ever been to take a different spin on the question? Have you ever been to see your favourite band and one of the support acts have been better?
I went to go see Red Hot Chili Peppers at Murrayfield, and they were shit. Ash were one of the support acts, and they were better. Like Tim Wheeler, the lead singer, came out with his guitar on fire. I was just like, "Fucking what?" It was amazing.
Arcade Fire, I think, supported Franz Ferdinand at the Princess Street Gardens, and Arcade. I think they either supported them or Belle and Sebastian, but either way, they were super. It was the first time I'd seen Arcade Fire, or I think first time I'd heard of them, and they were outstanding. What about you, Colin?
I'd seen Oasis loads of times by this time, but they were at Murrayfield one. It was a midweek, Wednesday night or Thursday night or something, and Kasabian supported them. And Kasabian were brilliant. They were better than Oasis that night. It was just when they were sort of hitting their sort of peak before the breakup and that, obviously. But it must have been about, I don't know, 2008, 2009, something like that. They were brilliant.
They were a brilliant live band.
They were. I've seen them a couple of times live on their own as well, but that was when I saw them supporting Oasis. They were better than Oasis that night. They were excellent.
They played at the Alhambra in Dunfermline, and they blew up the sound, like the electrics. First song
Aye.
came out, everyone went off, and then just the crowd started singing. Like the whole place was like bouncing. Well, they fixed it, and then they came out and rattled through the sets. Like they never cut the set short. They just played a couple of the songs faster to kind of catch up. That was a brilliant gig. Would recommend it. Couldn't see them. Right, the words, John, is replying to one of your tweets. Now, I don't know what you tweeted. You put, "Leave the bird alone, Franco." Right, and there's a tweet, but it says the media has been disabled in a response to a report by the copyright owner. So I don't know what you were sharing, but the words is asked, which Longbangers type is most likely to be a bird fondler? Brian. It goes without saying, almost like the...
He'd be proud of that as well. If he was on, he'd have his hand up.
Me.
As much as his reputation precedes him, like you can picture him looking after pigeons at a loft as well, eh?
Oh, aye, definitely. Keeping pigeons, without a doubt.
Do folks still do that? My granny's house up in Nidri in the 80s was like, all the neighbours had them. Used to stand at the back going, hop, hop, to shout them back. Do you remember that? Like some would rattle a tin, but others would like shout, hub, hub. I don't know if that's the right word they were shouting, but that's what it sounded like when I was 8-year-old.
See if you could talk to animals, like the last question you would go, okay, what they're shouting.
We used to just have like a wooden hut out in the back, like a wee hole at the top. I've not seen many of them for years.
What was on the video, John, that you shared? I presume it was a video.
It was a guy with a very Franco Begbie mustache. He's just out, you can just see like the bottom of his face, like mustache, mouth and that. And he's holding on to a pigeon. And I think he maybe like lifts it and moves it left to right, or maybe like round and round. But the pigeon's head stays centre all the time.
All right.
I saw that on somebody else's feed earlier. Aye.
Who claims that like it was maybe a 19-second video of a guy holding onto a bird? Like who's claiming the copyright on that? No, it was definitely a bird.
Aye, who is claiming the copyright on that?
That's a niche copyright claim.
Yeah. Last question. I think we probably kind of covered this one with the snowflake one. Is it from Matt? Said if you could change what falls from the sky every time it rains, what would it be and why?
Huh. It's a bit weird. We got two almost the exact same question.
Aye.
Donuts. I saw it in The Simpsons once.
Donuts, yeah. Not men anyway.
Right. They'd probably be okay because the hole in them, they would probably not like be as heavy a landing on somebody's head as well.
It's still a jam-filled donuts.
Aye, no, it'd have to be holes.
Aye, have to be a ring donut.
Yeah.
Huh. That's
Iced
a good
or
question.
sugar?
I quite like the ones that you get in Krispy Kreme. You know, the plain ones, but they're like sugar icing sort of thing.
Yeah,
that, whatever
glaze.
The
glaze. That's the word. Yeah.
Would a ring donut falling for the sky have greater speed compared to like a whole donut, or would there be more drag on the whole donut, which would slow it down?
Would they not arrive at the same? Is that not a thing? Like if you drop things, they accelerate at the same speed. Is that like a science thing?
So when does drag come in it?
Well, they'd both be affected by. I suppose if they're different sizes.
But if there's a hole in it, would that not slow it down? Like, not like a parachute, but it would.
Not.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Right.
Because it's like if you buy a bottle. I think we spoke about this before. You buy a bottle of a bottle of juice at the football in England. You get a bottle of Coke. They get the lid off it and give you it. Because if you want to throw it, it's not going to go far enough because there's a hole in it. And whereas if you leave the lid on it, it's a weapon.
I think that's shite. I think it just makes it a wee bit trickier to throw because you would just kind of like grab it by the lip and launch it.
Aye, but it doesn't. I don't think it would travel as far because the liquid leaves it. Well, it's fine.
Aye, that's a shout. Aye. Has anyone actually tested that out? There's still an element of bullshit about it.
We'll do that when we do the Biscuit Olympics.
There's an
Sean,
experiment.
Here's a bottle of Coke.
Where somebody drop in, it's like I think it's extreme. It's like a bowling ball and a feather, but in a complete vacuum.
Mhm.
And they just drop them, and they drop them. So from no starting speed, they just start falling at the same time. I'm sure they land at the same time.
Is it in a vacuum they fall at the same speed? But
Yeah.
out with a vacuum, i.e. real world conditions, the
Other
bowling
things
ball.
have an impact on it.
So I go back to my original question. Does drag on a
is it
whole
enough,
donut?
though? Is it
Well,
enough?
so I suppose the question would be, would they weigh the same? But I'm really curious about the impact of drag on a donut dropped from height.
Yeah, what will happen? You'd be watching it coming. Do you think I could catch this in my mouth and you're about to do it? And some kind of throwing a Viscount. Both. Where the fuck did that come from? A couple of boys standing up on top of a mountain.
I thought you were suggesting that you'd be standing there like waiting for it to come down and it decapitates you.
No. That would be a shit way to go, wouldn't it? Lose your
Looks your
feet to a
filling
donut.
in the toilet.
Aye. Right, that's all we've got time for tonight. Well, we had time for more questions, but we're running out of questions. So thanks for sending in your questions. If you sent us one in and we never read it out, sorry, I must have missed it. We are back on Sunday with Quick Bang and maybe Heatbangers, and then Monday with Longbangers. We're going to do one on Monday.
Yep.
And then we'll have a special one midweek, I think, as well. Okay, thanks for listening. John Cole, thanks for your time tonight. Tune in next time. We'll see you then.
Well, they trailed me down when I broke free. I drank all the whiskey in Tennessee.